Good morning, Year 4. It's me, Mrs. Shaw again. Here's lesson 2 of reading skills this week. It's Tuesday today, so if you could pop the date in your book, it's the 12th of the 1st, 2021. And if you could write Vipers as your title for me, please, and circle the P, which we know is for prediction. When you finish that, you can have a go at the question on the right. Okay, so let's have a look at our question. It says rewrite these sentences, or this sentence, there's only one there, so that the adverbial becomes a fronted adverbial. Remember to add your comma correctly. So she did a huge stretch in the morning. So an adverbial adds something about the time, the place, or the manner in which the verb was done. So she did a huge stretch, but she did it in the morning. So what you would need is your fronted adverbial would be in the morning. I'm going to try and show you if I can use my computer properly. So you would say in the morning, comma, she did a huge stretch. It changes it slightly. So if you want the first thing in the person's mind to be the fact that it was the morning, then you would put it at the start as a fronted adverbial. If you weren't and you wanted to start with she, that's fine. Just remember, if you read it out to yourself, you can decide which one works best for your writing. Okay, let's carry on with our reading skills. So we're going to talk about prediction. So what is a prediction? Think about what predicting is. Okay, let's get rid of that. So prediction is a guess using a text or picture clue as to what is going to happen in the book. We might make predictions based on the cover of a book. We might be right or wrong with that. So I might look at a book and think that I might not like it based on the cover. And it's not necessarily the best thing to do. So we might use a prediction for that. But we also might predict because it's fun to do. We might like to think what's going to happen. Okay? It's enjoyable to have a think, and then we see if we're right or wrong. Sometimes we can't help but predict and try and find out and read to the end. But that's the best thing about reading. So, I'll hire a question. Why do we make predictions? Oh, I've just told you a couple of those reasons. Let's have a look. So good predictions help us think what the story is about. It might kind of help you decide what characters are like or what they might do. They help us make sense of the story. Predictions help you get into the story, so you feel like you become part of it when you invest time to think about what might happen next. And it makes you look closely at the text to confirm your prediction. So when you read then, you want to know if your prediction is or isn't correct or partly correct. So you might pay more attention to the text. Okay, we're going to read up to the end of the next chapter, and then we're going to go back and answer some of these questions. What I'd like to do is just do the first one with you, and then I'll let you get on. So we'll read up to just page 11, and we're going to think about what's happening now, what happened before this, and what will happen after. So we're going to make a prediction, but we're going to think about what we've read so far and what's happening at this current time. So we're going to think about Grendel. So here he is, eating his worms, or eels. I'll read you just this page, this paragraph, and then we'll answer that first question. I calmed down by the evening and was ready to consider living in peace with my new neighbours. As long as they kept me happy with the odd sacrifice or two, I would graciously let their invasion pass. A couple of tasty warriors now and again sounded a fair swap to me for my land. Besides, I reasoned, I was ready for a change after hundreds of years of eel pie, eel stew, and eel ice cream. So he was happy to eat a couple of warriors or soldiers instead of his eels. If we go back to our question, it says, what is happening now? What happened before this? And what will happen after? So can you answer that question? You can pause me. What's happening right now? What kind of mood is Grendel in? How has that changed from the end of the first chapter? If we remember correctly, we know that Grendel was really cross with the Danes arriving and building their hall on his land. So he was really annoyed and he was going to seek revenge. And he's kind of reconsidered a bit. He's happy now. But what do you think is going to happen? Write down your answer for question 1, please, and we'll go back to that one a bit later. Okay, hopefully now you have an answer to question 1. If you haven't, pause me again and answer it, because we're going to go back to the text and find out what happens. We're going to read on. There we go. So, I approached the Danes' hall in a positive mood. That was until I heard the din. So din is a noise. There are 3 things I hate more than anything: loud music, drinking songs with stupid words, parties to which I have not been invited. A celebration was in full swing, everybody enjoying themselves without me. The worst bardic band in Scandinavia, the Shieldings, was playing a song that went: drink mead until we fall over, drink mead until we fall over, drink mead until we fall over, and then drink mead some more. There they are, enjoying themselves here. You can see why I was upset, but I'm not stupid. I may be a great big green bug-eyed fellow with teeth like daggers, but don't let that fool you into thinking I haven't got the brains to plan a battle. I had to wait until every last one of those annoying Danes had staggered to their beds, and then... "Revenge is mine!" I shouted as I burst through the doors into the hall. I grabbed the first 3 sleepy warriors in one hand and stamped on the fire in the hearth to plunge the room into darkness. Only the angry red light of my eyes was left to pick out my next target. I clutched all 5 members of the Shieldings in my talons and stormed off, back to my lair. There he is, his red eyes. He's grabbed the band members with their instruments. They look pretty cross with him, don't they? There's fire everywhere. It's a bit of a mess. I will spare you the details, but I will tell you this much. I did the world a favour when I found a use other than music making for that bardic band. So he's eaten them. Looking a bit full. There's some body parts lying around as well, and some instruments. In my innocence, I thought that would be it. I imagined that the Danes would get the message and move away to build their drinking hall in a place that didn't already belong to someone. But no, that was just the beginning. They declared war. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 2. We can go back to our questions now. You will need to open the text on your Bug Club login. So on your Sway document that we put on the general feed where you got the video link from, you should be able to find the Bug Club login page, and you'll need your details to log into Bug Club. You can then open Beowulf. Alternatively, you can scroll back on the YouTube video and find the bit there, but it's not as easy. So I would say have a good practice at logging into Bug Club, and you can read it on there. You have to search for Beowulf at the top, and then you can find the text for yourself. You can have a go then at questions 2 and 3 in a minute, but I will just help you with the question stems. So you can start with this page. If I show you the full screen, and we might just be able to squeeze everything out. Okay, so I started the questions for you. So question 1 we should have done already. So you've got question 2 and 3 to do. So only 2 more questions. So for question 2, it says, look at the image on page 15. What do you think is happening, and how do you think this links to the story so far? So the picture on page 15 is of Grendel with the flames on the floor of the hall carrying the members of the band off. So I would like you to start that answer with the picture shows and base it on what you found so far. And question 3 is read pages 12 to 16. What does the paragraph on page 16 suggest will happen next? So the very last paragraph I read, what makes you think this? So the paragraph on page 16, where he's lying full up with the people inside his tummy, it suggests this, and I think this because. So use those question stems for your answers and try and answer those before we go through on the next slide what my suggestions are. So pause me now and then come back when you're done. Okay, so purple pen's ready then, folks, and you can correct them, add to them, whatever you need to do. So question 1 then, let's go back to our prediction. What's happening, what happened before this, and what will happen after? I put now, so he's sat there eating his eels. Grendel is calm and believes he can live in peace with the Danes. He's ready to accept them. Before this, the Danes had arrived uninvited, and Grendel was planning on getting rid of them, in whichever way, eating them maybe, scaring them off. He was really quite annoyed in chapter 1, and at the beginning of chapter 2, he decided that he could live with them. However, my prediction is that the Danes will annoy Grendel again, and he won't be so calm. So something will happen, they'll make some more noise, and he'll get annoyed again. He won't be calm for long. Okay? Your prediction cannot be right or wrong. You'll only find that out further in the book. So making a prediction is quite fun because there's no black and white because we just don't know yet. So question 2. Look at the image on page 15. What do you think is happening and how do you think this links to the story so far? So I said the picture shows Grendel picking up members of the band holding their instruments. So we know they're members of the band because they've got instruments in their hands. We know he doesn't like the noise they make, so he's taking them away to eat them because he said at the beginning of chapter 2 that he would let them sacrifice a couple of soldiers to keep him happy. So we know he likes to eat humans. So without even reading the text, we know that he's going to take them off. He's pretty cross, and he's going to eat them for his dinner. So that was what I put for that answer. Question 3 then, the last question. Read pages 12 to 16. What does the paragraph on page 16 suggest will happen next? What makes you think this? So your opinion has to be based on something. Why do you think that might happen? What have you read to suggest it? And I put the paragraph on page 16 suggests that the Danes won't leave and that they and Grendel will continue to fight. I think this because Grendel says that was just the beginning. And if we look at it, page 16, he thought it was done, that he'd done enough, he'd eaten enough of them to scare these Danes away, that they can't stay there because he lives there. But it says that was just the beginning, which obviously it's not a 2-chapter book. We know there's going to be more. So we're excited to see what happens next. And the very last words were they declared war. So it's not the end because I don't think Grendel's the type of character to give up. I think he's going to be cross and he's not going to go anywhere. He's been there for hundreds of years and he's not going to go away now. So exciting. We will see what happens tomorrow. Have a look at Bug Club, explore that a bit, and just try and get the hang of it. Keep a tab saved on your computer so you can just log into Bug Club whenever you need to. Okay, I'll leave you with one final question for your plenary. I'd like you to have a look at this and choose one answer. So what's the name of the punctuation mark that creates suspense in this paragraph? So suspense, a cliffhanger. It says click on one answer. This is a Bug Club question. And we'll decide what we think out of these 4 answers. But I'm not stupid. I may be a great big green bug-eyed fellow with teeth like daggers, but don't let that fool you into thinking I haven't got the brains to plan a battle. I had to wait until every last one of those annoying Danes had staggered to their beds, and then what gives you suspense is this bit at the end, but what is it called? So is it an ellipsis, a comma, a full stop, an apostrophe? Now I say a lot of the time you might not know exactly what the answer is straight away, but you maybe know what it isn't. So it isn't a full stop. There are 3 full stops there, not one. So it's not that one. It's not a comma. One of those is just there. So it's not a comma. An apostrophe is for contraction here or possession. It's not one of those. So I can safely say it is an ellipsis. So dot, 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 It wants you to wait and see what happens. Lovely. Okay, I will speak to you tomorrow for Wednesday's reading skills, and until then, have a lovely afternoon. Thank you, Year 4. Bye.